Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever we find you. Okay, here we are. Bit of a tight profile or tight range in the overnight, about 76 to 74.10. And good distribution tonight. Really good distribution. And what am I talking about when I talk distribution? I am talking about taking this and selling it up here. Now, overnight inventory is long because 70-80% of the volume is above yesterday's close. Okay. We also have what we call a poor low. 85%, thanks, Elsie. So 85% long inventory. Now, the normal course of business is to correct lower. 73.91 and a quarter is an important level for us. Staying above that and staying above the previous day high means we're going to open on a gap up. Okay? So number one, inventory is long. Number two, gap. Right? Now we have 15 minutes before the open, so we could open inside yesterday's range, then we don't have a gap. Okay? So gap or no gap, if we do end up opening inside yesterday's range, look for 91 and a quarter. Right? If we break 91 and a quarter, then look for the close as your next target. If we break the close, then look for these stops here and that poor low. Now, normally, in normal market conditions, if you have long inventory, you get a 70% chance that it'll correct down. Okay? And it'll generally come and test that poor low because there is a ton of buying here in the overnight. But notice something. Okay, this is the early overnight session. As overnight progressed, every liquidation came and looked below 73.91 and failed, which means it did that. So watch that level. Watch these lows. We'll get into it on the next chart. Okay. If by some strange occurrence, hey, forget about it. Hey, Raj. Hey, Jam. If we get some liquidation, right? There's a ton of structure on the way down that we can look for bids, right? Including that J low, etc., right? Once again, there's a ton of trap shorts. I'm kind of getting tired of saying trap short, but if by any chance, right, by any strange reason, right, that this market turns normal and we break 73.62 and then that 73.50 area, we're going to look for yesterday's low. The way it's trading right now, it doesn't look like it, but you never know. We could go sideways here and then get a liquidation, right? Stranger things have happened. And remember, my friends, we have another quite a sizable gap. You know, from 73.04, you know, just under 73.30. So that's, you know, that's another almost 30-point gap So this market has been built on some pretty serious short positions. Unfortunately, these short positions are holding. If you go and take a look at the sort of the larger time frame, you'll see that there's a gap here. There's a gap here that got filled. Then there's another gap here that didn't get filled. Then there's that massive gap down here in the 6600 area, 6680 down to 6620. So ever since the market came up from our little liquidation, we have a lot of shorts trapped here, here. It just keeps going and going, right? So those of you who are looking for the top, we are still, unfortunately, in the front end of the move, right? And the worst thing that happens is you get that big move up and then you go sideways. So that's what I'm kind of expecting here, for us to go sideways. Now the trading it's been a little better. Like London Open was really slow. It got a little better after that. We got a liquidation, from 74.06 down to 91, 73.91. But just manage your risk, okay? This week, it's the first real week, of a new month. Let's see what the cat drags in. There's a lot. I'm looking at the Mag 7. Apple is now over 287 in pre-market trading. Okay. Amazon, you were getting resistance at 277.80 on Amazon. That's probably the only thing. But there is a gap down here, and you can see a straight move up. Just going to cover some of these deals. Google, look, I need more levels for Google. Hey, Stealth, how you doing? Meta, Meta's kind of cleaning itself up. But you always want to look for the front end of the move and then the back end of the move to short, right? And you only want to short something when you see the sellers lowering price. Pay attention to those things, right? Just because it's high doesn't mean it's too high, okay? And we've seen that over and over and over again, right? Microsoft is in that balance between 398 and 433. NVIDIA, nice look below and fail of 196, coming back up to that 211 area. You'll be looking for sellers there. But NVIDIA had quite a move yesterday, right? And Tesla is just kind of spinning around in this area. There's a lot of overhang in Tesla that it needs to clean up. Okay, those are just the Mag 7. Now let's get back to this and see what we can do today. So once again, I'm not saying don't short. Just short, use your brain when you're shorting. Wait for a seller. And if you do short and you have a small count, use hit and run shorts, right? Oh yeah, that's the thing, they said that we were overdone and, with AI, and then they said, all those software as a services stocks were going to go to zero. Everyone piled into the short, right? And then what happened, right? Look at Broadcom. Okay, Adobe, okay, probably was a good short, right? CRM, probably a good short, right? And they were beating up on Microsoft, but it's so thinly traded, right? Cloudflare. A lot of these deals have limited floats. So when they have small floats, it's really hard to short them, right? Again, the news was used strategically. Exactly. Shake them out, right? That's why you don't trade the news, you trade the chart. right? You guys should know that by now. Now let's see what's next. Okie dokie. All right, so the overnight point of control is right above yesterday's high. That is probably 80 to 90% short covering. Okay, that's what's keeping us above 73.96 right now. Okay. Yeah, folks, the chart is telling you in real time what's going on. It's a sales chart. You know, I sat down with one of my new coaching students yesterday. And he said, he goes, the chart is just a sales chart. And it's the first time a coaching student has ever said that to me. You know, he runs a pretty successful business. So, you know, it was interesting because I keep saying that to people. It's just a chart of how sales is going, distribution, right? So, what are our trades off the open? Okay. I did a cost basis from 76 to 81, double it to 73.91, double it again to 74.06, and then I hope this doesn't happen, but we looked into the 8 times cost basis, and hopefully we don't stay in 8 times. Not because I'm short, but I think liquidation is healthy in a market, right? I'm a big believer in liquidation because I used to be a liquidator, right? So 8 times cost basis so will take us up to 74.46. I really hope we don't do that today. I hope we get some liquidation and we get some nice trades for you folks. That would be nice for a change. First thing I'm looking at is I'm looking for a gap fill off the open. If the market does not fill the gap off the open, don't short it. Okay? I would say if we get underneath 91, it's a better opportunity for shorting. Because if we get underneath 91 and we get underneath VWAP, everyone who's long here will start puking it out, right? So that'll help push price down, right? Need some leverage. Problem with markets making all-time highs every single day is that nobody wants to sell the damn thing, right? Everybody wants to sell it short, but nobody wants to sell their long position because their long positions keep getting mark to market higher and higher and higher. So there's no reason to sell, right? Is it only 3 times? Ooh, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Good catch. Much appreciated, my friend. Oop. Hang on a sec. I'll go clean this up. Is there anything notable about a gap above a poor high? Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing. A poor high means that people were selling the crap out of it, right? So if you break the poor high, you'll probably have a lot of bids underneath it. Yeah. So we opened. Let's see if we can get down and take out VWAP. Yeah, it's after hours too, right? So I guess we could, you could debate that all day, but it is personal preference. All I know is there's a seller up there, right? And if we gap above a poor high, let's see if we can fill that gap now. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it seems subjective to you of the cost basis because you haven't done it 3,000 times. If you run a volume profile, you'll see the volume down there. You can try it any way you like, my friend. Not a big deal. A lot of people will say these things are subjective until they do it and experience it and start making money off it. Then they actually know it's the business. But that's okay. Give it a shot. Try it out, right? And that's what we do at Trading Syndicate. We teach you how to look at it. Because your brain's going to be telling you a lot of that stuff because you don't understand what's going on in the business. So you'll think it's subjective. And that's cool. But after you get some experience, you'll actually understand the business and you'll see it's not subjective. So it takes time. You know, a lot of people tell you a lot of information. I say, if you don't believe me or if you think it's subjective, go do it for yourself and see how profitable you are doing it your way. And if you find a way that's better, bless, go for it. Now inventory is coming in under VWAP. Let's see if we can stay underneath that previous day high, right? If you are short, you're looking for 92.5. If you're short late, your stop is going to be over 96, right? Let's see if we find a bid somewhere around here, right? Yeah, I mean, I've only been doing this for 34 years, so you don't have to believe me. Go check it out for yourself, draw the balance zones, and see if they work, right? I don't mind, right? The gap. No, I look at, I look at gaps as in if you open outside the previous day's range, there's a change. So we actually have filled the gap. Right now the close is all the way down here at 86.5. So I shorted 95 and I just covered at 93 and 3/4. Just on one. I'm just trading small and see if we get back up. You can take that trade again if we don't take out the previous day high. So I'm going to see where they sell into it in this candle, right? And by all means, my friends, challenge me, test it yourself. Don't take my word for it. You know, I'm a big believer in go check it out for yourself. Seeing these sellers under 95, let's see if we can get some follow through into the 92s. Right? Watch the offer. See the seller has now moved down to here. Right? So if you're short 95, 94 half, go put some bids in the 93s and see if you can get a cover. If you can't get covered, then you know you have to pay more. Trading is really simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Right? There, flat. I'm just scalping before that stop. Now, let's see if we hold 91.25. The reason I know why cost basis works is because like that 73.91.25, that level is derived from 6 years ago, off a cost basis 6 years ago. And a couple of, a little while ago it worked to the tick or one tick over. So that's why I know this stuff works, right? Because we've tested it and traded it hundreds, if not thousands of times. Now let's see if we hold that 91.25 bid. And if we do get a green candle here, oh, no, we don't. Okay, so we're going to test 91, come down. There's going to be a stop here at 89.75 and 89.5. You know, one of my neighbors has this dog, and the poor thing's been howling now for like 4 hours. If you're looking for a look below and fail, remember inventory is long, right? So they're going to sell into this sucker somewhere if you do get a green candle. Just be aware of that. Don't get too committed, right? So if you go long, say 92, get your sell orders up because there's going to be a seller at 93.25. I would wait for the next candle if I was looking for a long. You know, my problem is I always get into trades too early, right? And when I get into trades too early, I get stopped out, and then the trade a minute or two later works in the right direction. So give it some time. Let's see how many bids we get at 91.25. Look for where the sellers are, right? See, the sellers are there, and they're moving down. You can see how the sellers were there, then they're there, then they're there, right? Give it some time. Let the large traders come in and work this level out. And if it gets over 93, then it's probably a better long up to VWAP. But you can see how choppy it is, and there's not much follow through, right? There we go. There's 93. See how there's a seller? If we creep above and you're long, make sure you have your sell orders out. So if you're long 92, 92.5, 93, make sure you get your sell orders out and get in line because it's FIFO, right? FIFO means first in, first out. That's how the CME engine works. It doesn't mean fit in or F off, contrary to popular belief. Quite a bit of size there, right above 91.25. Right, that's all short covering, okay? I want to see if we can stay above 91.75. If we break 91.75, you will be looking for another short down to 89 and then the close. So overnight inventory has adjusted lower. Oh, thanks, Alexander. Next time you want to recolor, just click so it's selected, then right-click inside the box. Okay, cool. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. I've always had trouble with that. There's the trade, right? So you're long 92, 93, and you're getting out before VWAP, right? That's exactly what I was talking about. You understand now the mechanics of that, right? So now if these cost basis lines had not worked, this trade would not have worked. So the gentleman or lady who was asking about it seemed random or subjective, you just saw it work. Sure, you're not going to buy a private jet off of that trade, but a couple of points here, a couple of points there, right? Pays your cell phone bill, right? And that's the kind of trading that we do here. I mean, we do have traders who make 5, 10, 20, 50 grand a day. But most people, you know, they just want a little bit of extra income. 500, 1,000, 2,000 bucks a day. And that's what we do. We teach people how to trade for income. And that's really the way to do it. Especially when you're starting out. And what that does is that takes a lot of stress off of you. Because, you know, trying to get a 30-point trade or a 20-point trade when you have a $2,000 account and absolutely no skill is really hard. It's like putting you into an F1 car and you've driven a bicycle and you don't even know how to drive a car. You know, and you want to drive Formula One. It's going to be kind of hard, right? Business class is fine too. Exactly, Alexander, right? And that's our main concern, right? Is teach you how to trade and manage risk. That's our goal at Trading Syndicate. Oh, okay, Chop City here. Take a bit of a break. At levels like this, oh, here we go. Okay. Here we go. So I'll wait for the next candle and see if you can get off a short. If we stay under 91 3/4, that's a beautiful thing, right? 2 more seconds. Oh, come on. Stay down. Yeah. Come on. Good golly. How many people shorted this stupid thing? That's how choppy it is at 91 3/4. Come on now. Ah. Nope, not yet. Man, you know what I miss? I miss when markets would actually sell off normally. Gosh, I miss that. These damn things, they're so sticky on the way down. Look at it. It's just annoying. There we go. Come on now. Sell it like you mean it. Wait for the next candle. And see if we can stay under 91 1/4. Right? And 3/4, I'm sorry. There, okay, there we go. Right, so if you're shorting this, and say you're short 91 or 90 and change, go put your bids in, try and buy some back at 89 1/4. Bid the thing, right? Just in case. It's so hard to get follow through selling in this market, especially at all-time highs. It's just a pain. Oof. Every time, bid, 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 bid. I feel like Teddy KGB and Rounders. Check, check, check. Every time. It just bids and bids and bids. Look how annoying that is. No look above and fail yet, my friends. Look at all that volume. My God. Everybody, his dog, his cat, his possum, his squirrel, they all shorted it. They all went to buy it back under 91 1/4. So if these balance levels hadn't worked, we wouldn't have all this size trading at that level. Right? If my cost basis levels were crap, why the hell do we have 15,000 contracts of buying here? Right? It wouldn't make any sense. They're not just randomly buying a level. There we go. We finally got a short off. Took it all the way up to 93 and then came back down. Now let's see where those buyers are, as they come back in. So if you're shorting, that's okay. Just keep your size small and admit you're wrong quickly, Just admit you're wrong quick. Don't be stubborn and wrong in this market. It's just going to be disastrous. So when it's chopping around a level like this, I'll just leave it alone until it gives me clear direction. No point in me going short, going long, going short, going long, right? And that's where patience comes in, you know. There we go. Finally. Finally got a decent sell. And let's see if we get down to the close, right? Short covering before the close, right? Buy them if you got them. I just picked up a few at around 88 and a quarter. I'm going to sell them here. I'm not looking to be a hero. I'm just selling off the bid. That's all I'm doing. There's going to be a seller at 91, so get righteous, right? Now, so we found the bid here before the close. Now, 91 was support. We got trapped longs above. It cracked. So there should be selling somewhere. See, there's the seller right there at 91, right? Support turns into resistance when the position is above it. Very common. And resistance will turn into support when the position is above it. Below it, sorry. There we go. Now, if you're looking for a look below and fail, I'd be looking for 81 and 3/4. Watch how it trades at 81 and 3/4 when we get there. Hey, Leslie, how you doing? Right, I don't trade in the middle usually. I took a quick scalp because I saw it very clearly. But generally, I'll now sit and wait. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to stock your trades, my friends. Right? You're just not out there just trading randomly. Right? Yeah, it's 40% of the ES. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. You know, each market has its own order flow, but generally she's right about that, right? That's why a lot of traders like to correlate. The one thing I will warn about correlating is don't take your, if you're trading ES, it's okay to look at the NQ, but don't try it and trade the ES off the NQ because you got to watch the traffic on the street you're trying to cross. That's where a lot of people get nailed, right? Nothing wrong with looking at it, but always mind out where your stops are and mark off where your sellers are if you're going long, right? Yeah, you'll end up like Frogger. Does anybody remember that game? Oh man, that was an annoying game. It was a good episode of Seinfeld, though. Okay, we've corrected inventory down to the close. What else? What else? What else? Okay. Bunch of stops on the way down. Now let's see if we stay under the close. I'm looking for the 81s. Nothing to do here in the middle. Just take a break. Relax. Yeah, wait for your trade, my friends. No need to rush. That's a good thing, Jam. Take the day off. You know, if you're busy and you can't concentrate, don't trade. Right? This market's going to require your concentration. It's going to require your attention. Oh, choppy, choppy. Yeah. You know, it's selling off very sticky. It sells and stops and sells and stops, which is very frustrating. That's why I like shorting at an edge. Otherwise, you end up wasting a lot of money getting stopped out. Let's see if that 89.5 seller steps in. Well, there is a standard deviation at 87 and 3/4. Excuse me. Voice is not still back to normal. It's still a bit of a pain. Little sideways auction here. They might take this and try and sell it at 90, 91. But there is that 88 seller. That's kind of a party pooper here. Let's see if we can get over 88.25. No, not yet. Does it get repaired? It's all up to the order flow, Alexander. Right? A lot of people will short thinking that that poor low will get repaired. And that's how we trap a lot of shorts. Right? I have no idea until we get down there and hit it with some price, some order flows. I have no idea how that low is going to react until we get down there. You can speculate all you want, but until we get down there and hit it with some order flow, it's so hard. And that's how people get into trouble, because it's like people who say all gaps fill. And I'm going to short this thing because the gap's going to fill. And then it's 200 points higher and they're like, oh, I guess the gap didn't fill. And then they get all mad, right? I have a friend like that. And she'd be like, all gaps fill. And I'm like, where the hell did you learn that? All gaps fill. They just repeat it like a parrot, right? You have no idea until you get into the gap what's going to happen. Now let's see if we can hold 88. We're going to go and tickle the 91s, okay? There we go. Told you. Now, is there any follow through? There you go. Could be years from now, S-Bill. We have gaps from COVID that still haven't filled. That's 6 years ago. How'd you like to be short for 6 years? and offside $500 million. Right? Yeah, they might fill. And the Martians might land tomorrow too. We have no idea. That's why you have to. I mean, if the market looks like the chart's going to fill the gap, okay. If the market looks like we're 200 points away from the last gap, obviously it didn't frickin' fill, right? Doesn't take a rocket science to figure that one out, right? And we're looking for 91 and 3/4 if you're still long. There's 91. And my question is always, where do they sell into it, right? Where do they sell into it? You know, that 68.80 gap, we're 500 points above it. No fill. I should run a 1 minute chart for NQ. I've never done that. Probably get dizzy watching it. There's our 91 and 3/4 seller. Now, given the order flow that we've had for the last half hour, what I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last, is if we can go sideways here, clean up all that inventory, take it down, take down that inventory here, then go and try and sell it up here. Now that is provided this low holds in the next half hour bar that's going to open. So we're still inside the overnight range, no change yet. Inventory is corrected nicely. There's the seller. Now look for the bid, right? When they sell into it, now you get a big nice red candle under 88. I'd be looking for bids around 84, 84.25. Let's see where they stop selling. Right? If we rip the 84 bid, look for 81 and 3/4. That was actually a nice short of 91.90. I didn't call it out. Apologies, guys. I only got about 3 hours of sleep last night, so I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer this morning. I apologize for that. Oh boy. I'll give it a little while. I'm okay. Unless you guys think I'm making a lot of mistakes, then maybe I'll cut it early. Thanks, Alexander. I appreciate it. Now let's see if that A low down at, in the 84s, if that holds. And this is that back and forth I was talking about. Back and forth from 85 to like 91. Right, and we're going to clean that inventory up. Okay, good seller at an 89.25. Yeah, no, I feel okay. I'm just, I missed that short and it was glaringly off. You know, in hindsight, that short was so obvious. 90 short, 91.25 stop, or 91 3/4 stop. Let's see here. Let's see if we can move that point of control down if we stay above the close. Looking for that 91 3/4 again. Let's see what happens when the next candle opens here. Oh, it's poking its head over 91 3/4. We're looking for a seller. Probably be right under VWAP if we get accepted over 91. All right, there's that short again. So if you're shorting this, look above and follow 91 3/4. Your stop's going to be 92, right? And what you're doing is you're just working that back and forth. But if the offer starts coming back over 91 3/4, you know you got to start buying them back, right? No, not ready for it yet. Nice trade, Jim. Nice trade. Now let me see if my 91 1/4 level on the bigger chart works, if that holds. Remember what I said, we're going to take this and sell it up here. There's that 93 seller that we knew that we were going to be there, right? Now, if enough people get short, there we go, right? That's why I'm long 92, I'm selling the 94s. If enough people get short underneath 91 3/4 and they come into cover, it'll push VWAP, right? And because you know where the sellers are, make sure you take your profits, my friend. So I'm long 92. I'm out by 94 on like 6 contracts, and I'm fine with that. That's perfectly happy with that trade, right? Quick couple of minutes in and out. Use that short covering to sell into. That's how markets work, right? You position yourself when you see that short covering come in, right? You hit them with everything you got. Now, if you still have contracts left, say you're a larger trader, right? I did that with four or five contracts, a few contracts. If you're a larger trader, See, there's that seller at 95 and a quarter. Okay? So that seller at 95 and a quarter, make sure you have your sell orders out. The next seller is going to be just around 96. Just here. There. This is short covering of everyone who shorted under here. What did I tell you guys, So, a couple of people criticized and said it's after the fact trading. I told you that if you build a position here, you're going to be able to sell it here. And where are we? We're right there. And I told you that, 10, 15 minutes ago? Right? So if you want to learn how to trade with common sense, come into the trading syndicate, give us a shot. We've got a 3-day, check it out. Come into the room, check it out. See if you like it. If you decide to stay, it's only $19 a month, right? Right? Yeah, volume's decreasing on the run up, but that's really not, it doesn't mean anything, right? What it means in practicality is it doesn't take as much volume to move the market once you have all the supply. So if you've got all the volume here, and this is why you have a cost basis here, this move up doesn't take much, right? You can move it from 91 to 96 on very low volume because you've bought it all, right? Once again, common sense, my friends. I mean, I've been a market maker for decades. I've done deals. I've taken companies public. I get paid a lot of money to trap shorts. If there's one thing I know, it's the mechanics of trading. It's not that complex. It's only been around for a couple of thousand years, right? Sure, everything's done electronically now, but that's just to make it more efficient. Doesn't mean the business has changed. It's a market, right? So if you buy up all the volume under 91, to move it from 91 to 96, you don't need as much buying, right? So a lot of people are, the volume's decreasing as the move goes up. Yeah, it's because you don't know that all the inventory's under 92, right? So it doesn't take anything to move it up. That's the problem with a lot of this traditional retail trader trading, is they have these things, the volume's decreasing on the way up. Well, where's the inventory? Is it below you or above you? Right? So how do you make it tangible? How do you use that information intelligently? Because if you think volume's decreasing on the way up and you're shorting it, and you were short 91, you're getting your face ripped off at 96, right? Because what do people do? Volume's going down on the way up. I should short it. That is not a valid business reason to take a short. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So if you want to learn how to do this in a practical way with no BS, none of these, it's bullish and bearish and raccoonish and, it's a possum chart, all this bullshit. If you want to learn how to do this with some intelligent, practical business techniques, come into the trading syndicate. We'll teach you. We'll teach you for $20 a month, right? For less than you'll go and spend killing yourself at McDonald's. Come into the room for a month, right? And I promise you, you'll learn more than all these other trading rooms that are trying to sell you indicators and things like that. Everything we do is practical, right? Now let's see if we can stay above VWAP. If we can't stay above VWAP, we'll come back and test that 91 and a quarter again, right? Right. Put it on sale underneath VWAP. What happened? It brought in buyers. Watch for the next candle. See if we can get over 96. Or we might just go back and forth between 94 and 96. right? Yeah, and B stopped exactly at the overnight pop to the tick, right? Okay, what's next? There's that 96 seller. So this is distribution, my friends. They're taking this and they're selling it here. They can't sell it here because there's not enough buying yet, right? But if you were long, say 500 contracts here, and you sell 500 contracts here, and that's how the business works, if anyone's wondering, right? Then you're making good money, right? It's all about, markets are about inventory, cost basis. And then the order flow is the flow of customers coming in. Those are the three main principles of trading. Then you have to develop an execution plan that you use every time a clear business opportunity presents itself. And that execution plan has to manage your risk. So you have to have an intelligent reason to take the trade, an intelligent reason to stay in the trade, and how to get out of the trade. And we train you how to do that with no BS. This is where you take the trade. This is where you put your stop. Why? What are the mechanical and business reasons that support this business decision? Right? So if things start going south, you are automatically trained to get out of a bad position instead of adding to it and hoping it goes the right way. This way you preserve your capital, you don't blow up accounts, and you train yourself to get out of bad situations quickly without thinking and overthinking. Because the longer you take to get out of a bad trade, the more it's going to cost you. You may get lucky every once in a while. But the longer you sit in a bad trade, it's just like you're just burning money. And that's why retail traders blow up their accounts, because they haven't been trained properly. So, like, it's not okay to blow up accounts. It's not okay to do that. That's not how the business works. If I worked on Wall Street and I blew up a brokerage firm, it's going to be a long time before I get another job at another brokerage firm. Exactly, Raj. Right? So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've had enough of people taking your money and not teaching you anything, we're going to take very little money, right? We're going to take a Big Mac and large fries. That's what it's going to cost you, right? And we don't use terms like bullish and bearish and delta and schmelta. Like right now, there's no trade for us, right? We'll teach you also when not to trade, right? Because a lot of traders, well, let me say 100% of retail traders lose money because they're trading at the wrong time because they don't understand the business. So how can you possibly expect to make money in a business that you know nothing about? So come into the tradingsyndicate.org. We'll teach you. All right? Here we go, putting it on sale underneath VWAP. Let's see who comes into the store. Sorry, Dave, off VWAP. You know me, Dave. I don't trade off VWAP. I get out of trades at VWAP. Right? And the smaller the candles are, it means the slower the business is. Right? So now let's see. We've distributed here. We've held price over VWAP for a bit. Let's see if we can attract buyers and do this. If not, we're going to have to put it on sale again to bring in more buyers. Yeah, I don't take trades off of VWAP. I used to in 2016 and 2017, and when the market started getting more volatile, if VWAP is flat, you have a better chance. Like, see how it's flat right now? But if any kind of volatility comes in and VWAP starts curling up or curling down, it's very hard to trade off of, right? It's not a fixed reference. There's our little sale. Another look below and fail of 91, seller at 93. That's a big candle. Give it some time and see what happens here. And the other thing that we teach you is not to get suckered in by price action. See, a lot of people see movement and they jump in, but they don't know why they're jumping in. Let the candle complete itself and show you what the business is. So now we just found bids at 90, right? And now we're right back up. Let's see if that 96 seller is still there. Back to chop. Anyone have any questions? Would clearing the open be the next? That would be like trying to trade a breakout, right, Hex? Uh, I need a bit more follow through, right? And remember, if you do clear the open, you're going to have sellers here at 74.02 and 74.03. What would be nice, right, is if we clear 3 up to 9. That might be a nice one. This one here, right? Don't worry, it'll get better. The 7400 is just there, yeah. Yeah, we need to get some movement down, LC, but you know, it just keeps bid, 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 bid. And that's the problem with markets that are at all-time highs. Right now, taking out yesterday's high, How many people do you think are short between the close and yesterday's high? We're going to find out really soon. Right? We're going to find out in about 10 minutes how many people are short in this little box here. Because if enough people are short here and they go to cover, you're going to get one of these. And if you take out those 7,400 stops, you know, the only thing that's holding the thing down is that overnight high. And this little bit of inventory here. Right? That's the lid on the pot. If you take the lid off that pot, the chicken's going to jump out. Right? And here are some levels for you. Now remember, these levels are brand new. I have never tested them. The top of this zone is 75.11. So just remember that. And there is nothing to the left. Right? I mean, there's nobody up here to sell into it. There's nobody who owns the ES at 74.51 that's going to sell into it. So there is no overhanging supply. And that's scary. You know, it's just been straight bid, 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 bid. When was the last time we had an inside bar in B? I don't know, Ron. That's an LC question. That's definitely an LC question. But it is an inside bar. But wait, we got 7.5 minutes left, right? And we are creeping, right? Price is creeping through the tall grass with a knife in its teeth right now, eyeing that open. If we crack the open, it's going to run some stops. If we crack that A high, it's going to run some stops. And it's going to bring in some buying, right? See, we're over that area where the sellers are, right? That's the only thing that's holding us down. And here's the other problem. The price action is choppy. So it looks weak, right? Let's see if we hold VWAP. We're going to come back down and test that 91 again. You can see they sold into it here and here. Where are they going to bid it? That's the question. I haven't kept track of it since you haven't been in the room. You know? You're the inside bar guy. So let's see if we can get back up over that previous day high. I told you it would come down to VWAP. There's VWAP. There's a bid. And let's see if they still sell into it at 96. Not much follow through yet. Not much follow through yet, my friends. But remember, what's going on here is the same thing that happened here. So if we can hold this level and go back and forth, you'll get one of these moves again, right? If we get under 91.25, you know, that'd be healthy. But this is not a healthy market. This is a market that does not have a lot of supply. So there's nothing wrong with, you know, hit and run shorting. A couple of points here, a couple of points there. But please watch your risk if you're a position short, because we're still very much in the front end of the move. Right? And we haven't had any weird tweeting or any kind of bad news that's done anything except take the thing higher. So we'll give it another 4 minutes and see what the next half-hour bar brings. And then we will take a break. Still haven't been able to tag the open. It's kind of slowing down around now. People really don't want to commit. I mean, do you want to buy 1,000 contracts up here? Not me. Do you want to short 1,000 contracts up here? No thanks. Right. So really, right now, it's a wholesale market. Hey, Alex here. Do you know what do I think about Camarilla levels? I have no idea what they are. I've never even heard of that. I'd probably have to Google it, my friend. Never even heard of it. Is that someone's name? No clue, my friend. Maybe it's a quant thing, I don't know. I've never heard of it. I Googled it. The formula looks pretty complex. Yeah, I'm really a very simple trader, you know. It's an old institutional indicator. Yeah, I was on institutional desks for 2 decades and I never even heard about it. But hey, it might work. I don't know. I have no experience with it. If you're using it and it works, great. Go with it. But I can't really talk about anything I know nothing about. I'm a very simple trader, right? You know, I like to look below and the fail. You know, the market goes underneath an E1, comes back up. Sell orders are done. I go buy a little, sell some at 93, 94, 95. You know, if you see a seller, you sell alongside. If you see the seller go away, you go long. Put your stop underneath that candle. So my method of trading is very simple. You know, you can explain it to a 5-year-old. You can explain it to a golden retriever. Right? I don't like complicated things. The only reason I don't like complicated things is in trading, things are going to happen where it starts going wrong. And when it starts going wrong, if you haven't trained yourself how to react, you are going to hesitate or you're going to make bad decisions. It's just like, you know, if you're in a street fight and you're thinking about geometry and Pythagoras when you're in a street fight, you're probably going to get your clock cleaned. So you got to know how to react. So my method of trading is very, very sort of, it's street, right? I call it blue collar trades, street smart trades, very simple, right? You find a seller, you short next to them because they're going to push the market down. Their sellers are going to compete. When those sell orders are done, you flip and you go long, right? So that's what we teach, and it helps people not overthink things. You know, if it works for you, that's great, right? And I think we're done here. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning, afternoon, wherever we find you. Take care of yourself. Don't overtrade this chop, eh? We will see you tomorrow morning around what time? About 7:30, 7:45 a.m. UK time. As my voice gets better, I'll expand the sessions again. I didn't do too bad today. I didn't do the usual full session. It was a little 15 minutes later, shorter, but hopefully next week my voice is back to normal. Ugh. I'm tired of sounding like I got cotton balls in my mouth. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Come see us at Trading Syndicate. We'd love to have you. And stay out of trouble, okay? Bye for now. Thank you.